I have a childhood sweetheart named Yuan Ziying who has an extremely strong desire to control me. She loves me so obsessively that it's almost pathological, to have me all to herself. She didn't hesitate to spend a fortune building an underground secret room, imprisoning me there, completely cutting me off from the outside world. The matina, her parents were always away on business, and we were neighbors, so she often ate and stayed at my house. It's no exaggeration to say that my family raised her. She had only one goal since she was young, to marry me. My parents also seemed to treat her like a future daughter-in-law. They celebrated her birthday separately and took the two of us to amusement parks on trips to visit relatives in our hometown, and even for New Year's, she would celebrate at our house with us. Her parents didn't care. They had another son, and apart from sending her money on time, they barely existed in her world. In kindergarten, if I played with other kids, she would get upset, insisting that I play with her. I was playful as a kid and I got into fights with her over this more than once. In elementary school, we were at the same school but not the same class. Our parents even actively sought out the school leaders to have us put into the same class. Girls mature emotionally faster than boys. While I was absorbed in games, she was already watching all kinds of idol dramas and romance dramas, daydreaming about our future romantic life together. At first, I didn't take it seriously until one day she actually got into a fight with another girl. When the teacher asked why, it turned out that the girl had said something bad about me. Influenced by TV shows, I was very focused on brotherhood back then. So, she stood up for me like that. I had to be good to her unexpectedly. Yuan Shuren got even more out of control. Not only was it unacceptable to say bad things about me, but even talking about me was forbidden. By middle school, everyone was starting to develop. They say a girl changes a lot in her late teens, and by middle school, she was already quite beautiful. There were many people in school who had a crush on her, but she only clung to me. I wouldn't say I was handsome, but there were quite a few girls who confessed to me and wrote me love letters. I didn't pay much attention to it at first, but Yuan Ziying used her charm to get the people who like her to target the people who like me. This turned me into an outcast with the opposite sex at school, and I had no idea. In high school, the workload was heavier, but the seeds of adolescence were also growing rapidly. I had always treated Yuan Ziying like a younger sister and a good buddy, but I developed a special fondness for a classmate named Lu Ruin. I often spent time with her after class, and as a result, she was subjected to severe bullying. Yuan Ziying even participated directly. Lu Ruin, a girl like a blossoming flower, was tormented by them to the point where she nearly jumped off a building. This was the reason I fell out with Yuan Ziying. But she kept crying in front of me, saying that she did it because she cared too much about me, afraid that others had designs on me and that it would affect my studies. Although bullying was wrong, when I heard her reasons, my parents, even my teachers sided with her. My first love of adolescence ended so abruptly. Now, not only do the girls, but even the male classmates know that there is such a demon beside me, and they dare not approach me at all. So, I can only focus on my studies. My excellent grades made my parents and teachers believe that Yuan Shuren had done something very right. At this point, I already had the idea of staying away from her, so I just wanted to go to a university far from home. When it came time to fill out college applications, she asked me which school and major I was applying to. I wanted to lie to her, but she was very capable with her hands. Although she had never used her skills on me, who could guarantee that she wouldn't in the future? I didn't want to take any chances, and besides, I thought her scores couldn't be as high as mine. So, I told her the truth. I never expected that she would get into my school and major through a special admissions program. I had lived for 18 years and Yuan Shuren had been with me for 15 like a shadow, my nightmare. Her public identity is my fiancé and it has never changed. This completely blocked my desire to date. I didn't dare to strike up a conversation with girls I liked for fear of another incident like what happened to one. Yuan Shuren's parents had a company in the city where our university was located. They caught a rising trend and their business became huge. They had even donated a building to our school, which was probably the main reason she was able to get in. Since starting university, her control over me has become more severe. She brings me breakfast, buys me clothes. If she wants me to wear a shirt today, I absolutely can't wear a t-shirt. My roommates are really envious, saying I have a great life, not having to worry about anything. Yuan Shuren takes care of everything in my life. Once I was very sick, I didn't dare tell my family. It was her who took care of me day and night. Looking at her haggard appearance, I was moved for the first time. We hugged and kissed in the hospital room, oblivious to anyone else. The next day, the nurse woke us up during rounds. After that, she was even better to me, a matter of course, kind of good, and almost always met my every request. But I don't ask for much, just a little private space. She agreed quickly at first, but later she couldn't do it anymore. She not only demanded that we video chat every night, but she also checked my phone when we met during the day. I couldn't take it anymore and suggested breaking up. In response, she threatened to jump off a building. When my parents found out, they gave me a good scolding. After this, we became famous throughout the whole campus. I resigned myself to handing over control of my life to her. The turning point came during my internship. Her parents own a company, so naturally, she chose her own family business. I was with her, of course, since I had no choice. At a business negotiation meeting, she, as the boss's daughter, naturally had the opportunity to attend. Then my savior, Fushensing, appeared. He fell in love with Yuan Shuren at first sight and immediately began pursuing her. He was met with a cold rejection, and even when he tried to see me alone, Yuan Xing interfered. However, Fushensing was not the kind of person who would give up. He contacted Yuan Xing's parents, hoping for a business marriage. Businessmen are profit-driven. The Fu Group was one of the top groups in the country. So Yuan Shuren's parents naturally agreed. So they came to me and gave me a large sum of money as compensation for all these years. I was almost ecstatic. I wanted to get away from her even if they didn't offer me compensation. I thought the matter was settled and I quit Yuan Shuren's family's company. After getting my degree, I escaped the city as quickly as possible. I didn't expect that. 3 months later, just as the two families were preparing to get engaged, Fu Xinxiang had a car accident and became a vegetable. The business marriage also fell apart. However, her family didn't lose out because before Fu Xinxiang's accident, they had signed several big deals as a first meeting gift. As long as the FU Group was still in business, the contracts were legally binding. Yuan Xing somehow found out my whereabouts and directly cornered me with a marriage proposal. I could imagine what life after marriage would be like. If I really got married, my life would be over. This time, she didn't threaten to die, but directly brought my parents over. My parents had liked this sweet-talking girl since she was young. After growing up, Yuan Shuren had been showering them with money. They were more than willing to have this girl who had been a part of our lives since childhood as their future daughter-in-law. Her parents thought that we had feelings for each other. Although the Fu Xinxiang incident had happened, it wasn't a big deal and they didn't mention it at all. I thought I just needed to be firm once. But when I faced Yuan Shuren's tender affection, I couldn't seem to be stern at all. It has to be said that if Yuan Shuren didn't have that crazy controlling personality, she would definitely be a good wife and mother, a master of emotional support. Life after marriage was sweet for a few days, but she wouldn't let me go out to work. She wanted me to stay at home and wait for her every day. As long as I was at home, I could do whatever I wanted. I also spent a few days living like a big shot, playing games every day after waking up. Food and drinks were all taken care of until a class reunion when I saw my former classmates shining in various industries and making achievements. While I had become a freeloader, I became depressed. Especially when my classmates made a toast, everyone would clink glasses and chat with Yuan Shuren first and then give me a quick acknowledgement. Yuan Shuren was very good at reading people's expressions. When we got home, she asked me what was wrong. What could I say? Nothing. I'm just a little bored from being at home. I want to find something to do. Yuan Xing smiled. That's easy. How about being my secretary? That way, you not only have something to do, but we could be together all the time. I refused decisively. I didn't want to be called a freeloader, and going there would only solidify that image. So, I found a job as a salesperson, not to make money, but to travel more and stay away from home. Yuan Ziying didn't agree at first, but under my strong request, she rarely compromised. My watch and phone were useless since they were all equipped with listening and tracking devices. She even said it was for my safety, that it was dangerous outside now, and that she was afraid that something bad would happen to me. Whatever, as long as I didn't have to see her, and I could do something and forget about this relationship, that would be enough for me. Later, she gave birth to a daughter and asked me to quit my job and come home to take care of her. I agreed because I didn't earn as much as she did anyway. My daughter was so soft and cute. Her little hand gripping my finger was like gripping my heart. She was so precious that I was afraid she would melt in my mouth, afraid of dropping her when I held her. In the winter, I was afraid she would get cold. And in the summer, I was afraid she would get hot. Yuan Shuren was not willing to breastfeed her child at all, let alone feed her at night. Although we had a nanny, Yuan Shuren didn't want a young nanny. All the nannies were older. My daughter often cried loudly at night. But the nanny was a deep sleeper and couldn't get up, so I often made formula for my child in the middle of the night. My daughter added a lot of color to my boring life and made me much more cheerful. Unfortunately, this happy time stopped when my daughter turned 3. Yuan valued our wedding anniversary more than any other holiday. Every year, she insisted on it being just the two of us. So, she took me to Phuket that year. I was worried about my daughter and wanted to bring her with us, but was immediately rejected. I wanted to video call my daughter at night, but Yuan Ziying threw my phone into the water. Before I could scold her, I was engulfed in her endless affection. She was still the same, making me weak in the knees. I didn't expect that when we returned home, bad news awaited us. The nanny had made a mistake, causing a fire. My daughter had died in the fire. My vision went black and I passed out. When I woke up again, Yuan Ziying had already completed my daughter's funeral if it wasn't for me personally accompanying her to the prenatal checkups and the delivery. I would even doubt whether Yuan Ziying was my daughter's biological mother. The so-called funeral was held without informing anyone. Only our parents and my brother-in-law were there. It was a short ceremony lasting less than half an hour. My parents even tried to comfort me, saying that we were still young and that we could have another child. But since my daughter died, I had become averse to sex. We had more than one property, but Yuan Shuren still sold the house at a low price. I was in a slump for a long time, blaming myself for not insisting on bringing my daughter with us, and Yuan Shuren became even better to me. Not only did she provide me with various supplements in my diet, but she also said that we would definitely have more children. At first, I didn't think much of it until I saw the packaging for birth control pills in the trash bag. No wonder she never let me touch the trash bags. They were always taken care of by the nanny. I was only able to accidentally find it because I had carelessly dropped my razor into the trash can. I didn't say anything. Instead, I specifically found a private investigator online and anonymously asked him to help me investigate Yuan Shuren's recent situation and the truth about the fire at my house. Their efficiency was very high. Maybe because I had paid them well. They hacked into our original surveillance system, restored the deleted surveillance records, and found the nanny's series of actions when the fire occurred. It could be proven that it was arson and the arsonist was a nanny herself. Before starting the fire, the nanny had answered a phone call and spoke respectfully. Unfortunately, it was too far away to record what was said. After hanging up the phone, she had opened the gas valve without hesitation, set all the curtains in the house on fire and swallowed a fatal dose of pills. Then she quietly lay on the ground and never woke up again until an explosion occurred in the kitchen and the surveillance feed was completely interrupted. On Yuan Shuren's side, there was not only a record of a large amount of money being transferred while we were celebrating our wedding anniversary, but the transfers were all to the same person. The private investigator found that the owner of the account was a woman almost 30 years old named Lu Wan. She had recently undergone a kidney transplant and was now recuperating in the hospital. This Lu Rian was the nanny's daughter. Lu Rian, wasn't that my classmate from high school? I wonder if it's the same person or just someone with the same name. Just as I was hesitating about whether to tell the authorities what I had found, the investigator sent me another message. Yuan Shuren had made large transfers of funds prior to this. And the recipient was a man. I thought I could find evidence of Yuan Shuren cheating so that I would have a reason to file for divorce. But the investigator told me that Yuan Shuren had only contacted this man online and had never met him in person. A stranger. Why transfer such a large sum of money to them? The investigator said that he needed time. I gave him time since the existing evidence was not enough to prove that Yuan Shuren was cheating and wasn't connected to my daughter's death. The investigator told me that apart from her online contact with the man who received the large transfers of money, she would just go to work and go home. She was very regular and rarely worked overtime. I could confirm that she rarely came home late, and if she did, she would always tell me why. Although I never checked up on her. Logically speaking, I should be laughing in my dreams having found such a good wife. Maybe I was just someone who didn't know a good thing when I had it. I never felt happy, only suppressed. I had no freedom at all. I was completely like a puppet. Now I realize that I had no autonomy at all. Without Yuan Xing's instructions, I didn't even know what clothes to wear today. I had to change everything, starting with refusing to obey. I needed to make all my own decisions. That night, when she came home, she immediately noticed I wasn't wearing the outfit she had picked out for me that day. She pretended to be nonchalant and said, "Where's the outfit I chose for you? Did you wash it?" I pointed to the closet. I didn't like it, so I didn't change. She sat on me, hugging my neck. "Honey, did someone upset you again?" "No." She kissed me. "Tell me, and I'll get even for you." I was a little afraid to look into her eyes. "It's really nothing. Being with your pillow partner, yet unable to see through them, and being completely manipulated, anyone would break down." At dinner, she put food on my plate and I coldly said, "I have hands. I don't need you to do it." Saying that, I took the food out of my bowl and threw it aside. Logically, this scene should have enraged her, but unexpectedly, she first felt my forehead to make sure I didn't have a fever. "Does the food not suit your taste? Should I have Xiao Ma make you some food you like?" I looked at the dishes in front of me. "You know, I don't like these, so why make so much? It's a waste." The nanny on the side was stunned. The former me was always timid. How could I dare to say such things? If this was anyone else, they would have already resorted to domestic violence. But Yuan Xing was very patient with me with not even a hint of anger, making me feel embarrassed. "It's okay. I'll take care of disposing of it." This gave me no reason to be angry. It felt like punching cotton. My goal wasn't to anger her, but to change myself. That night, I was lying in bed when she moved closer. I rejected her. "I'm tired. I have an interview tomorrow." She rested her head on her hand, probably looking at me. I didn't dare to turn my head to meet her eyes. "Interview? You want to work?" I hummed in agreement, not saying anything else. "Our daughter just passed away. Can't you stay at home a little longer? Wait until I have another baby. Then you can go out to work." "No, I have dreams every day. I dream of our daughter crying to me." She asked me, "Daddy, why didn't you save me?" Saying that, I suddenly opened my eyes and turned to meet her gaze. The hint of ruthlessness in her eyes instantly vanished. The world is unpredictable. It was inevitable. If I had known beforehand, I should have taken our daughter back to have Mom watch her. I said impatiently, "What's the point of saying that now?" Then I turned my back to her and she hugged me from behind. "Well, now we have experience. My precious daughter actually became your experience points. Okay. No matter if this has anything to do with you or not, you will pay the price." Turning over, I hugged her. "Honey, do you remember Lu Ruyan?" Yuan Xing was expressionless. "Who's that?" "My high school classmate. You wouldn't have forgotten her, too, would you?" Yuan Xian looked as if she suddenly understood. "Oh, I vaguely remember. Is she doing well? When and where did you see her?" I was flustered. She had just transferred a large sum of money to Lu Ruyan not long ago, but now she was pretending not to know her. It seemed she was hiding more than I thought. I didn't see her. I just suddenly remembered her and was wondering what happened to her. Yuan Shuren rubbed my face. "Don't overthink it. Once I finish this busy period, I'll take you out shopping to relax, okay?" I nodded heavily. Okay. The next day, I started preparing the things I would need to escape this house. Of course, I did it all secretly. After all, my daily expenses were from Yuan Shuren's card. On the surface, my phone and watch were monitored, and who knows how many eyes are watching me secretly, especially since I mentioned Lu Wan yesterday. It would surely alert her. Luckily, my father-in-law and mother-in-law's divorce settlement hadn't been told to her, and she hadn't asked me for it either. Otherwise, I really wouldn't have money to hire a detective. Whether I could even escape would have been hard to say. I thought of using a ferry cruise to implement my escape plan. There would be no signal, and with a vast ocean, trying to find me would be a pipe dream. As long as I could get away from her, the next step would be to lie low and slowly develop, then seize the opportunity to strike. But ideals are often plump, while reality is often gaunt. She not only refused my ferry cruise idea, but also told me to wait for 3 days, saying that she would give me a big surprise. I don't know what kind of surprise it is, but I know with her personality, it definitely isn't good. So, I contacted a private investigator to closely monitor Yuan Shuren's movements and to send me a message immediately if there was any sign of trouble. But over 2 days, the detective didn't find anything besides going to work normally. Yuan Shin didn't have any special activities. The lack of activity made me feel even more uneasy. It indicated that the surprise wasn't temporary, but was planned a long time ago. Should I run now? That night, Yuan Shuren gave the nanny the day off and personally prepared a camel at dinner. She picked up a glass of red wine. Honey, I like you so much. I don't know why. I've liked you since I was little, and until now, this love is not only not faded, but has grown even stronger. I clinked my glass with hers, watched her drink her wine, and then drank mine. We've been married for so long. Isn't it embarrassing to say these mushy things? She suddenly stood up, walked to my side, sat on my lap, and hugged my neck. I don't care. I just want you to stay by my side forever and ever. My hand was unsteady, and the wine glass fell over, spilling red wine all over both of us. I was busy trying to wipe it off of her. She held my hand. I can do it myself. How can I let my husband do it himself? She got up and went to the bathroom, and my backup phone vibrated at this moment. I picked it up and saw that it was a series of messages from the private investigator. The first message shocked me. Lu Ruyan passed away half an hour ago from kidney failure. The second message: 2 men arrived in an RV. I hadn't finished reading when an arm suddenly grabbed my neck from behind and a towel covered my mouth and nose. Instinctively struggling, the arm